I'm back.
Hey, all gravity ain't they above ground livid. They dropped this indictment. It's bad, family. We just gonna get into it.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purpose, such as criticism, commenting, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, education, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern.
So NBC dropped the indictment, I think like an hour ago. It's bad. So we're gonna read a little bit of it. I'm not gonna stay on here too long, but it's bad. So it says, now this is on page 2. At all times relevant to this indictment, Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P. Diddy, aka Diddy, aka PD, aka Love. I didn't even know he had love, but all right. We get that popping. The defendant engaged in a persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse toward women and other individuals. This abuse was at times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual. As part of his pattern of abuse, Combs manipulated women to participate in highly orchestrated performances of sexual activity with male commercial sex workers. At times, Combs and others acting at his direction made arrangements for women and commercial sex workers to fly to Combs' location. Combs ensured participation from the women among other things, obtaining and distributing narcotics to them, controlling their careers, leveraging his financial support, and threatening to cut off the same and using intimidation and violence. Lord. Okay. It's already bad. And again, this is just page 2. And if you want this, I'm putting it in the social commentary playlist as well as the 2024 election, because we already know somehow, some way, some politician finna come outside and act like they're the greatest. So let's be careful. And I know they ain't gonna give me full monetization on this. I already know, but it's all good. But anyway, hello to the room again. Woo. Hold on. Shit. 2 seconds. Just making sure that I put the tags in there. Make sure you share this out to your people. We're gonna try to give you as much information about this as we can. Even though I don't do celebrity shit on the regular. All right, I think we're good now. Let's continue. And I put the link for I put the link for the indictment so you could read it later if you want. Physical abuse by Sean Combs. We know all the names. The defendant was recurrent and widely known. On numerous occasions from at least in or about 2009 and continuing for years, Combs assaulted women by, among other things, striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects at, and kicking them. These assaults were at times witnessed by others and included one instance at a Los Angeles hotel in or about March 2016, which was captured on video and later publicly reported, where Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a woman as she was attempting to leave. And I'm guessing that was the Cassie incident. When a member of the hotel security staff intervened, Combs attempted to bribe the staff member to ensure silence. Combs' violence was also not limited to these women. It extended to his employees, witnesses, to his abuse, and others. Sean Combs, we know all the names. The defendant used the Combs business, including certain employees, to carry out, facilitate, and cover up his abuse and commercial sex. Those employees, including security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and high-ranking supervisors and other close associates, acted as Combs intermediaries, and their conduct was facilitated and assisted by Combs' control of the Combs business. So that's, for those who don't know what the Combs business is, that is all his collective ventures. So that includes Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Enterprises, and Combs Global, collectively the Combs business. They're making him sound like a whole mafia boss. All right. The shit is wild. Let me see. The Combs Enterprise, sorry. From at least in or about 2008 through on or about the date of the filing of this indictment, Sean Combs, we know all the names, the defendant and others known and unknown were members and associates of a criminal organization, the Combs Enterprise or the Enterprise. He think he's CMB. This man think he's CMB. Whoa. Okay. Members and associates of the Combs Enterprise engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other activities, trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, coercion, and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping. This one shocked me. Arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. The Combs Enterprise, including its leadership, its members, and its associates, constituted an enterprise as defined by Title 18 U.S. Code, Section 1961-4. That is, a group of individuals associated in the fact, although not a legal entity. The Combs Enterprise, we know all the names and the businesses. Individuals employed by and associated with the Combs business and others known and unknown. And one of them must have been Kevin Lyles because he stepped down from 300 Entertainment today. The Combs Enterprise can constitute an ongoing organization whose members function as a continuing unit for a common purpose of achieving the objectives of the Combs Enterprise. The Combs Enterprise was engaged in its activities affected interstate and foreign commerce. The Combs Enterprise operated in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere. At all times relevant to this indictment, Sean Combs, we know all the names, the defendant was the leader of the Combs Enterprise. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sean Combs, we know all the names, the defendant and others known and unknown participated in unlawful and other activities related to the conduct of the Combs Enterprise's affairs. These individuals included certain Combs business employees, such as members of the Combs security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and high-ranking supervisors, as well as other close associates of Combs. And we know what the Combs business was supposed to be. Here we go. Enriching members and associates of the enterprise, including its leader, Combs, and in particular those who demonstrated loyalty to Combs and willingness to conceal his crimes. Jesus Christ. Protect his brand. Revo TV finna go down. They're gonna buy him out. There's no more Revo TV finna brand it to something else. All right. Let's continue. Preserving, protecting, promoting, and enhancing the power of the Combs Enterprise, including the power of its leader, Combs, through violence, use of firearms, threats of violence, coercion, and verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual abuse. Fulfilling the personal desires of Combs, particularly those related to Combs' sexual gratification, including through the exploitation of women and the use of commercial sex workers. Jesus Christ. Vince McMahon is somewhere blushing right now. Enabling Combs and other members and associates of the Combs Enterprise to engage in unlawful acts of violence, including sexual violence, sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for the purposes of prostitution, coercion, and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics distribution, and other crimes, and concealing the commissions of such acts. Securing absolute loyalty from members of the Combs Enterprise, including through acts of violence and threats. Protecting the Combs Empire and its members and associates, including Combs, from detection and prosecution by law enforcement authorities through acts of intimidation, manipulation, bribery, and threats of retaliation against individuals who witnessed the crimes committed by members and associates of the empire. Combs and other members and associates of the Combs Enterprise wielded the power and prestige of Combs' role at the Combs business to intimidate, threaten, and lure female victims to Combs' orbit, often under the pretense of a romantic relationship. Combs then used threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sex acts with male commercial sex workers that Combs referred to as, among other things, freak-offs. Okay. Oh, we gonna get to the men's very soon, Miss Neesy. Freak offs were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, felt himself during, and often electronically recorded. In arranging these freak offs, Combs, by the way, pause, with the assistance of members and associates of the Combs Empire, transported and caused to be transported commercial sex workers across state lines and internationally. Freak I can't get over this. We're just gonna say FOs. I'm not gonna keep saying freak offs. FOs occurred regularly, sometimes lasted multiple days, and often involved multiple commercial sex workers. During F-offs, Combs distributed a variety of controlled substances to victims, in part to keep the victims obedient and compliant. This man is done. Sometimes, unbeknownst to the victims, Combs kept videos he filmed of victims engaging in sex acts with commercial sex workers. After F-offs, Combs and the victims typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug use. Jesus. Okay. Mm. Members and associates of the Combs enterprise, including high-ranking supervisors, security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and other Combs business employees, facilitated the F-offs by, among other things, booking hotel rooms for the F-offs, stocking the hotel rooms in advance with the required F-off supplies, including controlled substances, baby oil, lubricant, extra linens, and lighting, cleaning the hotel rooms after the F-offs to try to mitigate room damage, arranging for travel for victims, commercial sex workers, and Combs to and from F-offs, resupplying Combs with requested supplies, delivering large sums of cash to Combs to pay the commercial sex workers, and scheduling the delivery of IV fluids. Well, some doctor or nurse is about to lose their license. In or about March 2024, during searches of Combs' residences in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, California, law enforcement seized various F-off supplies, including narcotics and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Combs subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse to cause the victims to engage in F-offs. Combs maintained control over his victims through, among other things, physical violence, promises of career opportunities, granting and threatening to withhold financial support, and by other coercive means, including tracking their whereabouts, dictating the victims' appearance, monitoring their medical records, Jesus, controlling their housing, and supplying them with controlled substances. During and separate from F-offs, Combs, among other things, hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims at times by their hair. These assaults often resulted in injuries that took days or weeks to heal. Combs also threatened victims' careers and livelihoods, including if they resisted participating in F-offs. Victims believed they could not refuse Combs' demands without risking their financial or job security or without repercussions in the form of physical or emotional abuse. Combs also used the sensitive, embarrassing, and incriminating recordings that he made during F-offs as collateral to ensure the continued obedience and silence of the victims. Fuck him. Members and associates of the Combs enterprise, including Combs security personnel, at times carried firearms. On more than one occasion, Combs himself carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten others, including victims of and witnesses to his abuse. In or about March 2024, during searches of Combs' residences in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, California, law enforcement seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers, as well as a drum magazine. Nigga. You're done. Yeah, you're done. Members and associates of the Combs enterprise enabled Combs' control over victims by following his directions regarding financial payments to victims, advancing or suppressing the victims' career opportunities, and acquiring the controlled substances Combs used to keep the victims compliant. Members and associates of the Combs enterprise at times witness Combs' violence towards the victims or the victims' injuries caused by Combs without intervening. Instead, members and associates of the Combs enterprise help conceal the violence and abuse by, among other things, assisting Combs in monitoring and preventing victims from leaving locations such as hotels or Combs residences. These occasions included instances in which a victim was required to remain in hiding, sometimes for several days at a time, to recover from injuries Combs inflicted without being publicly observed. Members and associates of the Combs enterprise also assisted Combs in locating and contacting victims who attempted to flee his abuse. When employees witnesses to his abuse or others threaten Combs' authority or reputation, Combs and members and associates of the enterprise engaged in acts of violence, threats of financial and reputational harm, and verbal abuse. These acts of violence include kidnapping and arson. Motherfucker. In addition, on multiple occasions, Combs threw both objects and people. What? You threw this? He threw people? Huh? Okay. As well as hit, dragged, choked, and shoved others. When Combs' authority or reputation was threatened by the possibility of negative publicity or legal or law enforcement action against him, including in or about late 2023 following public allegations of Combs' crimes, Combs and members associated of the enterprise pressured witnesses and victims, including through attempted bribery, to stay silent and not report what they experienced or knew to law enforcement. On phone calls, Combs and other members and associates in the enterprise, among other things, provided these victims and witnesses with a false narrative of events in an effort to conceal Combs' crime. Combs caused these calls to be recorded on at least 2 occasions. Motherfucker, you done. You recorded this? So you recorded the crime? Never mind. The racketeering conspiracy. So that's why I said he caught RICO charges. From at least in or about 2008 through on or about the date of the filing of this indictment in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere, Sean Combs, we know all the names, the defendant and others known and unknown being persons employed by and associated with the Combs enterprise described in paragraphs 6 through 12 of this indictment. An enterprise engaged in and the activities of which affected interstate and foreign commerce, knowingly combined, conspired, confederated, and agreed together and with each other to violate the racketeering laws of the United States, to wit, Title 18 United States Code, Section 1962C. That is to conduct and participate directly and indirectly in the conduct of the affairs of the Combs enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity, as that term is defined in Title 18 United States Code, Sections 1961, 1, and 1961, 5. Consisting of A, multiple acts involved in kidnapping, chargeable under the following provisions of state law: California Penal Code 207, 221A, 664, that's an attempt; California Penal Code 31, aiding and abetting; and California Penal Code 182, conspiracy. Multiple acts involving arson, chargeable under this motherfucker was burning people's shit. Chargeable under the following provisions of state law: California Penal Code 451, arson; California Penal Code 21A, 664, the attempt; 31, aiding and abetting; and 182, conspiracy. Multiple acts involving bribery. We're not going to read that again. Multiple acts indictable under Title 18 U.S. Code, Section 1512, related to tampering with a witness, victim, or informant. Multiple acts under Sections 1589 related to forced labor, sex trafficking, relating to transportation inducement to travel for purposes of prostitution and other illegal sexual activities, and multiple offenses involving the possession with intent to distribute or distribution of narcotics and controlled substances, including cocaine, oxycodone, alprazolam. Oh my God. Methamphetamines, gamma hydroxy. Oh my God. Oh my God. Bruh, this man's done. He had ketamine. Oh, he done. Where is he getting this? He giving out depressants. He done. It was a part of the conspiracy that Sean Combs, we know all the the defendant agreed that a conspirator would commit at least 2 acts of racketeering activity in the conduct of the affairs of the Combs enterprise. From at least in or about 2009 up to and including in or about 2018 in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere as part of his agreement to conduct and participate in the conduct of the affairs of the Combs enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity. Sean Combs, we know all the names, the defendant agreed to, in an affecting interstate and foreign commerce, knowingly recruit, entice, harbor, transport, provide, obtain, advertise, maintain, patronize, and solicit by any means a person, knowing and in reckless disregard of the fact that means of force, threats of force, fraud, and coercion as described in Title 18 U.S. Code, Section 1591E2, and any combination of such means would be used to cause the person to engage in a commercial sex act in violation of 1591A1 and B1. Lord have mercy, this motherfucker done. And they were talking about they want this man, the defense, they want a $50 million bond on him. I think it might be here. Yeah, they want him to surrender all property. Jesus. Like I said, and Damian Williams, United States Attorney. All right. So it's like I say, what the hell happened? IC Watts. Hello, you seem new, but welcome. If you read these, he doesn't have one charge. These are multiple charges. Maybe you don't know that. He's got racketeering, he's got bribery, he's got kidnapping, he has arson. These are multiple charges. You can talk about Trump all you want. Okay, that's great. Him and Trump are in the same boat. Except Diddy got RICO charges. So I don't know what are we talking about. You motherfuckers kill me. Yeah, Republicans get RICO charges too. You right. Yeah, he got to. Yes, Miss Nisi, he got to. The defense wants him to have a $50 million bond, or surrender everything that he owns. There you go. They want him and his whole family to give up everything they know, including the children. But yeah. He done. I'm not going to spend too long on this. He's done. He will be restricted to the Southern District of Florida and the Southern District of New York to attend court, meet with his counsel, and attend medical appointments, which we will address to the court in a separate sealed submission. Oh, Lord. As well as the Eastern District of New York or the District of New Jersey, only to the extent that his travel to and from New York involves an airport in those districts. So he can't even go to LA. Wow. So on August 20th, he paid off the remaining mortgage of $18 million. So the home could be used to secure a bond and be free of a mortgage. Damn. I wonder if that Biggie stuff is gonna come out. I wonder. But yeah, I'm sure there's gonna be other people that are gonna go more in depth in this. I really don't care. I just wanted to read y'all the indictment. Again, I put it in the chat. Y'all can go read it later. I'm just trying to grift some views. That's it. I don't give a fuck. Might as well. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about it, but this is probably the only time I'm going to talk about it. I could care less. He been operating in the shadows for years. Here's the problem, Kelvin Black, and good afternoon. It wouldn't have mattered if he dipped. As the indictment said, he brought people international. He didn't open it up. If he tried to run, he'd have had Interpol and the FBI on his ass. He don't need that. If you bringing in folk from international or flying them international to do this, yeah. Interpol could have just came in and said, listen, we got a little bit of jurisdiction here. But he called RICO charges. He's finished. But it is what it is. Screw 'em. Y'all can enjoy the trial. I'm going to enjoy my life. Praise to the victims. May you have your day in court and land-base this man. So anyway, hopefully you learned something. If you did, I done my job. If not, I try to be better next time. Not with this subject. Diddy, fuck you. That's all I gotta say. Your reign of terror is over. Anybody that was associated with you, fuck you too. Because y'all sat up there, y'all grown-ass men and women, y'all sat up there and watched them do that. And because y'all was collecting a check, you allowed it. You can go kiss my ass. I hope all of you do 20 years. That's all I gotta say. Y'all take care, stay safe, and you know what to do when the agents of chaos kind of mess up your existence.
Wait around, yep. Smart, yeet, and get out.
Time's up.
But did we have a good time here? Hello?
At the end of the day gotta end.
Get your money up, not your funny up. Big fucking move.
That's it.